Welcome to Glowing Success. My name is Heidi and I am your host. This podcast is for beauty entrepreneurs. Join me weekly as we dive into the beauty industry's ins and outs, from business strategies, top-selling services, and taboo topics. I will be interviewing industry leaders with empowering stories and game-changing insights. Let's illuminate your path to success together. Let's jump into this next episode. I have been plant-based for 9 years, and I have spent over probably 2 decades in the wellness and beauty industry, okay? So I study this stuff, I teach this stuff, and last week, probably 2 weeks ago actually now, my iris reading humbled me in the best way possible, okay? Because it caught something I had completely overlooked, and it had nothing to do with what I was eating. I talk a lot on this show about like beauty, business, marketing, and wellness. But today I want to pull back the curtains on something I just experienced myself. So my iris mapping, okay? So something that stopped me in my tracks and reminded me that no matter how far along we are in our wellness journey, there is always another layer that we could be paying attention to. So like I stated earlier, I have been plant-based for 9 years going on 10, and I have been dairy-free for 11 years. So, just a little background. I am, of course, you guys know if you've been listening for a while, I'm a licensed esthetician, a certified massage therapist, and I have been in the beauty and wellness industry for a little over 24 years, okay? So I am not new to like health conversations. I mean, if you listen to the last episode, I was even on TV for fitness for a while. I know about gut health. I know about inflammation, nervous system regulation. And, I live and breathe all this stuff. I hear a lot of this, conversations often. I tune into podcasts myself that talk about all these things. And yet, when I decided to get my own iridology or iris mapping done, partly it was out of curiosity because I'm embarking on this new career, right? I will be offering iris mapping very soon. And then part of me was like, well, shoot, what is it going to tell me about myself, right? Like, what am I missing? What have I got going on? And I know that I have symptoms, here and there of things that I can't explain, or doctors can't explain, or labs can't explain. So those were the missing things that I was curious about. So I also, though, was not fully prepared with what did come back. So I will say that, okay? So let's break down some of the things I'm willing to share about my reading. So first things first, she identified that my gut, specifically my absorption, was not necessarily the best. So I eat really well, and I have lots of whole foods that I eat. Plant-based, of course, means we're vegetables, things like that. I eat quite a bit of fibrous foods, so I'm definitely making sure that I have all of these things in my daily life. But what my iris showed was that my gut wasn't fully breaking down those foods and absorbing the nutrients I'm giving it, okay? So essentially what she said was my food was fermenting rather than being absorbed, okay? And the cause of that was I'm rushing through my meals. So I'm eating very fast. I'm not chewing enough. I'm not doing those things. And some of this will make sense when she talks about my nervous system constitution as well. But I think this is common for a lot of people. Like, we rush through our meals. We're trying to eat between things. We're busy. You know what I mean? So I don't think that this is something I was thinking about, right? You think that you're chewing, you think you're slowing down, but a lot of times, we're on our phones, or we're watching TV, or we're between meetings, or between clients. We're, not chewing how we should be chewing. So yeah, so that was interesting. She recommended chewing each bite around 20 times. So she also recommended me taking smaller bites for that reason, and obviously longer chews. So giving my digestive system like a chance to actually do its job before the next bite comes in. So that one thing, that simple one thing, and it's probably going to be a game changer, and it already has. She also flagged my nervous system. So, my nervous system constitution, which is called neurogenic, and she described me almost perfectly, but she said, I'm pretty resilient. Don't get me wrong. I'm strong. I bounce back quickly, but run on the nervous system side. So, meaning I burn through my reserves fast and I need to be intentional about like slowing down, maybe unwinding a little bit more intentionally, and of course helping or accepting help from other people, she said. So I won't lie, I sat with that one for a minute because I was like, you know what, I do not accept help from people quite often. So that's true. So a couple things I have implemented since my reading, and mind you, it's only been a couple weeks, right? So first thing is I'm slowing down at meals. I'm trying to be more intentional about getting smaller bites, chewing more. I'm also trying to be more intentional about like not being on my phone, trying not to rush. Like I just think that like, paying attention to my meal has been really helpful now. It's giving me a lot of like insight about like, okay, the foods that I'm consuming and like things like that. So the second thing that I've kind of implemented is I am adding a little bit more like digestive friendly foods. So she suggested like an enzyme support of some sort, but I'm obviously plant-based and I really like to do whole foods rather than going right to supplements. That's just my own preference. So I'm always looking for like foods that maybe will trigger those absorptions or trigger that enzyme absorption. The third thing that I'm doing, and this is actually the one that surprised me a little bit, was she also suggested to not drink liquids while I'm cooking. So specifically, I mostly do, dinner cooking, right? Morning, I'm like, making something easier. I'm not necessarily like cooking in the morning. Lunch, sometimes I'll cook. If I'm at work, I'll usually bring a lunch that's easy. And then dinner, I'm usually cooking, right? So she said that there's actually a connection between your thirst that you feel while cooking, because that's your stomach acid is producing. So she suggested I do not drink any liquids while I'm cooking. Let those stomach acids, build up. Let that stomach acid production happen by itself, because that will also help with like breaking down my food and things like that. And actually, the fourth thing that I'm implementing is I am being more intentional about my nervous system. So, I'm paying attention. So how I'm doing it is I'm paying attention to the times in my day that I am feeling stressed, or the times in my day that I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, also the tasks that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis where I'm feeling a lot of tension or stress. And I'm not saying I'll be able to take all those things away, right? Stress is going to be there. But what we can do is we can support ourselves through those things. So if I'm doing tasks at certain times of my day that aren't really the best times to do them, then they're not going to help me. So maybe switching and doing a task in the morning when I have a little bit more, time, or, whatever the case may be. So I'm really paying attention to how my day is working, what is stressing me out, and so forth. But I truly believe these small shifts, they're going to give me the results I'm looking for. So lowering that inflammation, possibly working on my nervous system, things like that, getting that absorption back in my foods. I think these are really going to be game changers, and I'm already noticing some things with my stomach, so that's good. I don't have as much inflammation. So, if you can do anything in the right direction and help you feel better, help your body work better, why wouldn't you, right? And we all have blind spots. That's one thing that I learned from my own iris mapping is, you could be the most active person, the most fit person. You could be, you could be eating clean, doing all the supplements, and still missing something that is fundamentally just not working for your body, right? So for me, absorption matters more, than anything right now. I'm slowing down is what I'm going to be focusing on. And yeah, but this is one reason why I've actually become very passionate about iridology, is because we all have little things about us that, we don't really sometimes know, and we kind of sometimes need somebody to show it to us, right? It could be something that's right in front of us and we didn't know, but your eyes are going to say that. Your iris mapping is going to show that. Like, she was able to see, she doesn't know anything about me and she knew a whole bunch about me, right? So this is very personal. It's very personalized approach to our health. It's very, I don't know. It's very eye-opening, and I say that because it opened my eyes, right? So, iris mapping has been really fun to learn about. I'm excited to offer this. If this episode has resonated with you and you've been doing all the things and feeling all the things and something still feels off and you're still trying to figure something out, I highly suggest getting an iris mapping with me soon. I will be launching this service very soon. And I know as soon as I launch it, the spots will fill in. So I'm actually going to be working on putting like a wait list together so you can sign up online. And so you'll be the first to know when I start opening up my books for this. And of course, if this also resonated with you, do me a favor, share this episode with someone in your life that like hasn't probably been feeling the best either, or just hasn't been able to put their finger on whatever they're going through, because sometimes it's that powerful thing is like what we can do for other people. And also sometimes it's that new perspective or a new thing that they haven't heard about. So, okay. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I'd love for you to leave a review. It really helps more people find the show. And if you know someone who'd also enjoy it, share it with them or tag me on Instagram so I can thank you. New episodes come out every week, so be sure to subscribe so you never miss one. See you next time.